This is fucking hilarious, right? Big up the Daily Mail. This is a hilarious story. Legitimately an hilarious story. British woman 23 is arrested after being caught trying to smuggle 18 kilos of cannabis out of Ghana into Britain on British Airways. The first thing that came to mind when I saw this story, or when I read this story, was, is Ghanaian weed really that good? Do you have to smuggle 18 grams of it? Like, is Ghanaian weed known to be that loud, that good, that potent, that fucking banging, that you would risk your life and try and smuggle in 18 kilos of it? Is it really that serious? Is it really that serious? Let's read the article. British woman has been arrested in Ghana after being accused of attempting to bring up to 18 kilograms of cannabis into the UK. The 23-year-old had been set on board of a British Airways flight from Accra to Ghana back to London Airport on May 18th when she was approached by officers as part of a profiling exercise the Ghanaian government said. By the way, that should be the biggest red flag, isn't it? That should be an easy thing for border police, immigration people to sift through and to figure out who's a criminal and who's a fucking potential smuggler. If you're going to a place like Ghana, and I'm imagining flights from London to Ghana, I'm probably going to say they're like, judging, I don't know, again, I've never been, but I'd probably say they're around 10 hours plus. So that's 20 hours back, you know, to and from. If anybody is passing through immigration and they tell you that they're in Ghana for, 7 hours and they're flying right back home again, they're just there for the day and they're going back home the same day, that should raise some alarm bells. That doesn't seem normal. Who's leaving Ghana to go and not even stay a night, not even stay 2 days, a week, a month? You're going there to stay there for 1 day and you're just a girl, you know, some businessman or something. That's too bait. Ghanaian Narcotic Control Commission, the NACOC, a government agency, alleged that the luggage checks revealed the young Briton had hidden, and by the way, hidden, keep an eye on the, or keep a note of the word hidden. 32 slabs of substances initially suspected to be narcotics drugs in 2 suitcases destined for London. Later, a field test provided positive tests for the cannabis, with drugs weighing 17.72 kilograms in total. She was arrested by officers at the airport and has been reportedly moved to NACOC's headquarters in Accra for further investigation. Her arrest is the latest in a recent string of British female smugglers who've been caught legally transporting drugs worth millions of pounds. And I was wondering this, by the way, because I thought this is true too. I noticed that when I heard the story. I was like, doesn't it seem like every other day, every other week, there's a new story about somebody from this country risking their life, risking their freedom to smuggle cocaine, weed, pills, MDMA, whatever into this country? And I feel like it's becoming more and more prevalent. So all that tells me is that, number one, the reason people are doing it is because a lot of people get away with it. I think more people slip through than the ones that get caught. So for every person that gets caught, probably 10 kind of slip through. So that's what the fucking smugglers are probably using to kind of dangle as a carrot over these people's heads to potentially go and do the deal. And people are just desperate and hungry. People are hungry, whether it's from the high unemployment rate in this country, whether it's just the rising cost of living and people wanting to make an extra income or extra bit of money on the side to supplement what they're making for their jobs. It feels like people are becoming more and more desperate and are really trying anything possible to secure the bag. Most likely as well, you know, judging how people are in this country, based on what I know, a lot of these people are probably doing this in the hopes of just using it to have some pocket money to pay for a fucking holiday, or to pay for a festival ticket, or to pay for accommodation and shit. That's the actual sad bit about these stories. These are probably all being done just to make sure that they can kind of keep the lights on and whatever else they're doing. It's fucking horrible, but it is what it is, I guess. Bella May Cully, 18, or Cully, sparked a massive international search operation in early May after she was reported missing when she was believed to be holidaying in Thailand. However, it later was revealed that the teen from Billingham, County Durham, had been arrested 4,000 miles away on drug offences in Georgia, allegedly carrying 30 pounds of cannabis into ex-Soviet nation. That is, I don't know what kind of desperation that is, by the way. There are techno clubs in Georgia that are getting raided by the police on a daily basis. There's actually a story I got to share recently, next after this, of the founder of Basaini, or whatever that pronounce that club in Georgia, in Tbilisi, the #1 techno club over there. who allegedly has kind of ran away from the country, has because I think the police were hunting him down and shit. I think his wife or whatever is pregnant, so he wants to ensure that she's healthy and gives birth to a child in a safe place. So I think they've left Georgia for Portugal or something, so so they can kind of be safe. So imagine you're in a country like that is has some very strong opinions about people from the LGBTQ scene, queer scene, very much against stuff like techno and those kind of clubs that are probably bringing a lot of money into their country, right? It's probably helping their nightlife economy, probably helping increase their GDP. But then you are still having the same idea to go to that very same country and smuggle in for stuff like cocaine, stuff like cannabis or whatever. Like, people are, whew. When you're desperate, I guess all sense goes out the window, innit? But anyway, remember when I say hidden? You remember when the article said the cannabis was hidden? Do you remember? Cool. Number one, by the way, bless this young lady who tried to smuggle cannabis from Ghana out to England, I'm assuming. By the way, I wonder if she would have got caught in England. I know she got caught as she was trying to leave Ghana, but I wonder if she got to London, would she have passed through immigration? But you remember when it said hidden? And by the way, I love the Trapstar hoodie. That's probably a real big warning sign. If you wear a Trapstar hoodie, I'm assuming you're probably, have an affinity with the traps lifestyle, right? Whatever. But they did say 32 slabs of cocaine that were hidden, right? Look at hidden. Look at what hidden means. This is what hidden means. When you got a piece of, when you got luggage and there's a lining on the luggage. Sometimes you can use that to kind of put your stuff in, or sometimes you just use it as a base to put your thing in. There's usually a lining you can unzip. She unzipped that lining and stuffed these, I think there's Ziploc bags. I think there might be, I don't know, whatever else bags of weed inside there. That's what's hidden. The bags are not covered. The bags are transparent, so you can literally see through it and see some of the color of the weed or whatever, the cannabis there, and the buds. You can actually make out what it is even without opening it. It's not covered in anything. It's not sellotaped anywhere. It's just clear, transparent wrapping that's been wrapped around and put in the zip section of the fucking piece of luggage. Didn't try and conceal it inside the frame. Didn't try and put it inside of bottles, inside of fake fucking, bottles of cream, fruit, whatever. Just inside the lining of the luggage. They didn't even try. And I guess maybe she tried to mix it up by leaving the sandal there to not make it bait. But God almighty, girl, you didn't even try, man. You didn't even try. That's the girl in Georgia, right? I think, right? Hey, look, but by the way, imagine how your parents feel. Your parents feel like you got kidnapped. Your parents fear the worst. Your parents fear you maybe got murdered. You might have got your body might have been dumped somewhere on the hillside in Thailand. But then the Thailand authorities let you know she's not even in the country, madam. She's in Georgia. She's in Georgia. It's like, what? How did she get there? It's like, yeah, she got arrested because she tried to smuggle some drugs there. Like, your parents are probably happy that you're alive, but they're gonna be so fucking mad when they find out that you weren't in fucking Thailand on your gap year, backpacking through fucking Phuket. You were out in Georgia trying to smuggle grams of fucking weed. Meanwhile, 21-year-old Charlotte Lee May from Causden in South London. Is that the girl up there? Is that her? No, that's Bella. That's Bella Cooley. That's the one in Georgia. And that's the girl from Accra, Ghana, right? So, yeah, there's a couple girls here. Meanwhile, 21-year-old Charlotte Lee May from Causden, South London, was arrested in the capital of Colombo last week after police discovered 46 grams of Kush, a synthetic strain of cannabis, in her suitcase. They're saying that Kush is also mixed with human remains, by the way. This is a bit crazy. The youngster who told Mail Online from behind bars in Negombo prison, bro. That sounds harsh. I'm not going to lie. What does Negombo prison look like? I'm quickly going to Google it now. What does Negombo prison look like? This must look rough, innit? Negombo prison in Sri Lanka. What does that look like? Oof. That's Negombo prison. God damn, that looks rough. People have parties in Negombo prison. There's a video here that shows a party that happened in Negombo prison. Let's see this. Footage reveals parties.
Convicted criminals enjoying relative luxuries in prisons was thrown under the spotlight in recent times.
Wow.
The Negombo prison was at the center.
Decent, isn't it? You get hooked up. People got 4 pillows. That's like probably having like a Hermes belt. That's like having Balenciaga shoes, isn't it? People got Hermes like 4 pillows, 5, 6 big duvets, foam mattresses and shit. Fuck.
Of it, with prominent criminals there being afforded.
Someone's got a fan. Someone's got a fan in there. That must be, because you can imagine what the fucking humidity is, what it's like in Thailand in general, or in Sri Lanka. Then imagine what it must be in fucking prison there. So if you've got a fan, if you've got some sort of air conditioning in your fucking cell, you are living like a king.
The luxury of having fridges, various food items, musical instruments, as well as other comforts within the prison. The Negombo prison's former superintendent Anuruddha Sampaio was accused and remanded over provision of such unlawful luxuries to inmates. Now, the intelligence units have found video footage of Negombo prison inmates throwing parties at the prison during Sampaio's tenure while imbibing liquor. 2 televisions had been set up at this cell. The use of a blender can also be seen. The inmates had been afforded the luxury of having parties inside the prison with a chance to also imbibe liquor.
To be fair, it looks like a vibe, I'm not gonna lie. Looks like a fucking vibe. I'd be in there. That looks like a good little afters. They're all sat cross-legged on the floor, singing songs, making little fucking smoothies for each other, you know, in their little vests and shit, hanging out, Sri Lanka vibes. It looks like a vibe, I'm not gonna lie.
Such parties had been recorded with the use of mobile phones, and the intelligence units have also found.
Look at the pot bellies, man. They're eating well in there. Look at all the fucking pot bellies. These uncles are eating well. They're looked after, bro. They're well fucking nourished. No one's there is missing a meal. No one there is fucking famished. No one there is on hunger strike. They're all eating well. Look at that fucking belly.
Many relative photographs. The video footage and photographs have revealed that a group of inmates, including mega drug racketeer Kundaranji, had enjoyed a luxurious life within the prison. The former superintendent of the Negombo prison, Anuruddha Sampaio, under whose watch these illegal activities had taken place, was arrested and remanded over providing unauthorized comforts to inmates. He was granted bail recently, however charges are filed against the suspect.
Cool. So I guess maybe she's not living life too badly over there in Negombo prison. Big up her. The youngster who told Mail Online, Negombo prison, that she had no idea about the drugs. Well, yeah, that defense doesn't work, unfortunately. I had no idea is not a defense at all, unfortunately. Worth up to 1.2 million found her suitcase was seen at the Negombo Magistrates Court in May. The drugs bust came also at the same day that the officers were said to have arrested 3 people, including a young 19-year-old British citizen allegedly found to have been carrying 53 kg of cannabis. The young British citizen, along with 2 other suspects believed to have been assisting him, were identified and detained at the scene. We got such draconian laws and rules around weed anyway, man. Stuff like, I get it if it's like class A stuff like coke and heroin and shit, but weed, like, allow it, bro. Like, it's not that deep, bro. This is like, that stuff needs to be made legal ASAP in Europe, at least. It needs to be made legal ASAP. It's not going to happen, obviously, because especially places in the UK, very kind of very fuddy-duddy and against any kind of fun, especially when it relates to drugs, but they're totally okay with opening or approving licenses of untold amount of cocktail bars and restaurants and pubs and shit. But there you try and fucking float the idea of legalizing stuff like cannabis, they all kind of get their knickers in a twist. Hopefully it does happen sometime soon, but you know, for now these guys are going to be in serious trouble, man. NACOC confirmed that the further investigation is ongoing, with the commission adding that the NACCOC remains resolute and committed to the fight against drug trafficking usage in the country. UK authorities have worked closely with the drugs control officials in Ghana to clamp down on the rising tide of smuggling in the past. That's the girl there in a little trap star fit with her luggage stocked with absolute bricks of weed, by the way. Bricks of weed, clumps, slabs of them. Like, not even try to seal it. Just put it in the lining of the fucking suitcase. Unzipped it and that was it. God damn it, girl. You didn't even try. And that's her luggage. You can imagine that's the thing that doesn't make any sense, right? So, allegedly she went to Ghana, London to Ghana for 1 day. Back and forth. Like, these smugglers aren't even smart. They don't try and give their mules like money for like a weekend or like a week vacation. They just give them a ticket to go there and back, and you know, the border. Imagine you got someone that's working. Imagine you got somebody. Imagine the person that you pass at the immigration, the same person you pass trying to get back into the country. You know what I mean? It's like they're working the same shift. They're gonna be like, hold on, you just went and left and come back like for one, like you traveled what 11 hours, however much it was to get here, and you're leaving after only being here for an hour. Like, come on, there's something's amiss. So that was probably the red flag. There's another image of that Charlotte. Oh, geez, look at her. Bless that. That's the girl up there, isn't it? That's the girl up there. Fucking hell, look at her. Behind bars, Charlotte May from Causen picture was arrested. So that's her in this Sri Lankan prison. She's behind bars, and they look like they've put some of the bars, they've got this mesh wire thing that's been ripped off of it. And then I guess it's been covered in this plastic sheet. So proper third world country looking prison type of vibes. In September last year, 4 British men were found guilty of smuggling 4.3 million worth of cannabis. Daniel Yuboa, Christoph Bado, 48, Kwaku Bonson, and Andrew Ajay were convicted of importing drugs. Following a 3-week trial, the drugs were illegally smuggled in a container. Yuboa was in prison for 5 years, Ajay for 4 years, Bado for 10 years, and Bonson for 7. Those sentences are fucking wide-ranging, innit? 4, 5, 7, and 10. Maybe depending on how much money you get, maybe 4 years you can justify trying to smuggle drugs like that, but 10 for trying to smuggle some weed or cannabis, like not worth it at all. No amount of money you make from that is going to be worth that time you spend in prison. He was sentenced to 6 years, blah 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 blah. What's that thing called? Pulamupu? Was that Pop Lampu? Has been in regular contact with Eric Apia from also from Ghana, who's accused of trying to import 15 kg of cocaine stashed in food boxes. Apia was sentenced to 6 years in prison, while 2 associates were with the ring were also arrested and handed down sentences. UK authorities have worked closely with drug control officers in Ghana to clamp down on the rising tide of smog. So that's been happening a lot. So maybe they're getting a grip on it now because obviously it's been bait and hotted up. But I'm assuming the reason why those smugglers do what they do and why they don't let these people stay longer in the country, why there's such a fast turnaround, is because it probably worked. This route has been working for a while. And we're only seeing it now because it doesn't work, but you would assume it's been working for a long time. But yeah, this girl didn't even try to fucking conceal what she got. But free them anyway. Free them same way. Free them same way.